go home now.
Leo, just describe your own feelings after the game and how you saw the game transpiring. It was a bit of an arm wrestle at times, but and you had to win it the hard way. It never really opened up.
No, yeah. During the game, I was actually remembering a game when Cass won the top 14. That was what was flashing through my mind, because obviously the two Laurens were coaching that team, and just they're so aggressive at the ruck, and very smart the way they played the game. I thought Teddy Iribarren was outstanding and just pinned us back the whole time, and they played that territory game and just made it very difficult for us to play. So there was a lot of sort of examples in the first half where we're carrying into heavy traffic, and then there's players on our side of the ball, and we just couldn't really get a flow into the game, and it was frustrating at times. And we didn't quite execute on a couple of things, and we're just maybe a little bit off. But in terms of the way the players, they're very clear in the messaging at half time, and about staying patient, etc., etc. And it just, we couldn't quite get our noses in front, is what it looked like, and Racing just always had that little bit of an edge in terms of they were always on the right side at 3 points. But yeah, no, the credit to the players, it's phenomenal the way they've dug it out. Stayed very composed right to the very end, and pushed and pushed and pushed the whole time. So yeah, it wasn't pretty at times. It was tough to watch that last 20 minutes. Torturous in many ways, but yeah, no, like, delighted for the players. Great to see them up collecting that trophy, because I know how hard they've worked to get to that point. And we talked yesterday, it seems like a long time ago, 2000 and whatever it was, 12, but the work that's gone in behind the scenes with everybody, yeah, it's incredible feeling at the end, and maybe the fact that it was ugly like that makes it even better, because the quarter and semi-finals were, I thought, some very, very good performances from the team, and it was a completely different type of performance today, but maybe that makes it that little bit more special. We had to go through the pain watching it. It was tough, but credit to the players. They just stuck to the tasks, and yeah, not delighted for them, because I see how hard they work every day.
A question for you, Leo. Yeah. There's something special too. You're the first player coach to win on both situations a European Cup. What is your feeling now?
It's relief, really. Like, I think probably the guys here been very, like, I think obsessed is probably the word about this tournament, and to get to this stage again. So I'm very lucky. The club are very supportive of me. A huge amount of work goes into producing, for the most part, homegrown players. So the work that goes on behind the scenes, bringing guys through, you see with some of the young guys that are there today, and so all, like, we're very lucky. We've got clubs and schools that we rely very heavily on, in terms of that's where our recruitment comes from. So the academy system, etc. So we get a couple of guys who come in from the outside to add as well. But yeah, no, I'm just pleased, because I can see the work that goes on, and we have a love affair with this tournament, and yeah, it's but mainly it's credit to players, because they're the ones that put the work in. They're the ones who put out the brave deeds on the day. And these guys beside me in particular, been a phenomenal influence on the team, and they're two very dedicated leaders, so I'm very, very pleased for them.
Isa, it was your final European game today for Leinster. How incredible is it to get your hands on a fourth European trophy for the province? And also as well, if you could just tell us how much it means to you to win it for Leinster, and how much the province means to you as well.
Yeah, it's a special day. Special day for the province. Special day for the club. A lot of hard work in behind the scenes that just, people that don't get credit for the hard work that goes on. Back office staff, back room staff, coaches, players that weren't involved today. A lot went into this campaign alone. That just probably goes unnoticed. So it's just a massive massive day for the club, really. You know, we talked about taking a step after Scarlets and after Saracens and Scarlets, and we did that, and then, you know, to do it on the bigger stage and a different way to win the game is pretty special. So, you know, there's a solid core group of guys, minus me, that will be pushing on for higher honours after this. So it's, you know, good to be in a good shape as a club going forward in the future.
Yeah, Isa, just I saw you're taking a few kicks in the warm-up and stuff, so maybe you might have known that this was on you, but what's going through your head, I suppose, when Johnny comes up or maybe gives you the nod and says you're going to have to take these kicks, and then the one, just a follow-up on that is just a nice moment with Geordie Murphy at the end. You pushed him to the front for the presentation as well.
Yeah, kicking's kicking. It's its own little game within a game, and a bit of a mind game too. So you know, me and Johnny talk often about, you know, when and who takes kicks, you know, and you just got to, you know, channel your focus and do that. So, you know, I've said, you know, before the game, we've got a great kicking coach and Emmett Farron, and he, you know, he controls most of that during the week. And Geordie's been phenomenal. He's such a dedicated player. He's, you know, plays with his heart on his sleeve and will just give it his all. So, you know, pretty fitting for him to have an outstanding campaign. And, you know, it's just good that he lifts the trophy. You know, he was in the centre of it all. He was in the mix of things throughout the whole campaign, and a good way for him to sign off his European honours with Leinster. You know, maybe we'll see him back one day.
Hi, question for Johnny, please. As an Irish player, Ireland has won the Grand Slam this year. Leinster is now champion with a European champion. It looks like Irish rugby is pretty in shape. What does it mean to you as an Irish player? Is it a great source of pride?
Yeah, of course. Look, we're very lucky as players with the group of coaches that we work with at international level and also at provincial level. And I said it just after there, you know, when these young guys come through, they need to be, you know, coached obviously really well, and they need to learn pretty quickly. And we learned some hard truths last year. But then, you know, the influence of guys like Dan Levy and James Ryan this year, and I think things have fallen into place a little bit for us as well. Obviously, getting guys back from injury at key times. You know, Robbie was out for a long period, then Gary was out, and they both come back in. Isa did a great job, and we seem to just, you know, get guys fit at the right time for both Ireland and Leinster. So you need a little bit of luck to do that, and it hasn't really sunk in yet, to be honest. You know, if you told me at the start of the year, you do, you know, go unbeaten and win the Grand Slam and win Europe, I'd have bit your hand off, and I'm so happy. We've got a big game next week, and hopefully get to another final, and then a big tour to Australia. So one last push to make it that dream season.
And Johnny, sorry, speaking of that, and Leo talking about obsession and love affair, I mean, you've won this, but it's not the end of a kind of journey. It's the start of a journey, I presume, and next week in the league game after that, and then maybe getting this thing back again next year as well. You want to try and build another kind of legacy.
Yeah, so like these young guys are very hungry individuals, thankfully, and you know, it's important that obviously the older guys within the group stay hungry, and you know, I remember Brian O'Driscoll talking to us at the end of his career, and he was talking about how he wanted to, you know, finish with wins and you know, finishing the right way, and you know, he really drove those young guys along, and it's up to me and a few other senior lads now to drive the guys along. We've lost a couple, you know, Isa is leaving, Strauss, Rickard is leaving, who's a big influence in the group, and Jamie as well. So you know, we're gonna have to, you know, get guys like Shawnee back and really drive things on again next year. And yeah, we're in a great position as a group because, you know, the group is so young, and I think by winning the final the way we did today, it wasn't the way we wanted to win it. We, you know, when you talk about going to Bilbao for a final, you think sunshine, you think fast game. Like, we were training during the week in the sun in Ireland, sort of thinking that this was going to be the conditions, and we were, you know, we all had wet jackets on with hats and trying to mimic that kind of heat that we were expecting, and then we come today and it's lashing rain. It's whatever degrees it was cold. So we did it a way that we didn't expect, and that's very pleasing as well.
Johnny, when you first heard that Leo was bringing Stuart Lancaster on board, it's well kind of documented that you put in a text or a call to Stuart to encourage him to come along. What was it about him at that stage of his career that you thought would be so useful to Leinster?
Well, look, I obviously spoke to Leo and Guy used to be before I sent the text. I didn't just randomly find his number, and so they knew about it. It wasn't divisive or anything. It was, I think if you know rugby and you looked at England, he did an unbelievable job with that team, I think. And like when he was in charge, I think they won 4 out of 5, maybe 2 or 3 years in a row, and got nothing. We won 4 out of 5 a couple of years and got 2 championships out of it. So it's small margins, and then if you look at that Wales game in the World Cup, if bounce of a ball, a decision on halfway line that could go to England, Farrell kicks the kick and England go through, potentially go on and win a World Cup. It's such small margins, and I think I always found when we played against England with him as coach, we struggled at times, and we found them really hard to defend against, really hard to attack against, and look, he obviously played a big part of that. And so I think, when you take some of the media reaction to him leaving England away, I thought he was obviously an outstanding coach, and spoken to a few English guys, the Farrells mainly, and they spoke very highly of him, and that's why I text after Leo kind of asked me to.
Last question for Leinster, please.
Isa, can you celebrate this as big as you normally would after a final, bearing in mind you still have 2 big games hopefully to play, and then also having seen last year what happened to Saracens, they suddenly the next week they lose and they're out the playoffs?
Look, you got to, it was a long journey, so you got to make the most of this moment. So yeah, we've got to celebrate it. Look, the week is what it is next week. We know what's in front of us, but you got to make the most of this moment and turn the page when it's time. So pretty special moment. A lot of people deserve to celebrate this. We'll turn the page next week when we need to.